To our big focus now, President Cyril Ramaphosa has implored government to radically change its approach in dealing with the water crisis in the country. Addressing delegates at the Water Indaba in Midrand, Ramaphosa added that the time for talk shops is over. The Water and Sanitation Indaba seeks to devise immediate solutions that will ensure reliable and sustainable water supply to communities. And Natasha Phiri, SABC News Reporter, has been tracking that for us and joins us live now. Natasha, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. The President saying that the country is still very much a long way off from achieving clean water and sanitation for all as encapsulated in the Sustainable Development Goal 6, calling for a radical approach. What else has come out from those talks?
Well, definitely, Bongi. Another pertinent point is that, the issue or the challenges around, our water crisis is not solely because there's a, water shortage in the country, but it's the management and the distribution of water. Also citing that, you can't have a situation where our country's water boards are always investigated by, law enforcement agencies like the SIU. He had said that issues around, the water mafia, as they so call it, vandalism, water leakages need to come to an end. But of course, just to wrap up everything, today we're actually joined by the Portfolio Committee Chair on Water and Sanitation, Mr. Leon Basson. Mr. Basson, thank you so much for joining us on SABC News. I hope I pronounced your surname correctly.
It's fine,
thank you. I just, first and foremost, this summit is meant to come up with solutions, for the country's water crisis. But we heard the President making concessions saying that, listen, we know what the challenges are. It's now time for government to act.
I'm 100% in agreement, and I think also the Minister has laid down the foundation on what will happen in future. Corruption needs to be stopped, and I think the Minister called a spade a spade. Local government needs to play their role in the water sector, and I think COCTA needs to take cognizance of that. We cannot just build dams and that water goes down the drain in pipe leaks. So I think it's also important that we have invited the private sector. The private sector needs to play a huge role in the future of South Africa's water. And therefore, I'm also happy that the private sector is here. We've got people here that has brought new innovation that we can look at and go forward in for a better South Africa with more water security.
I think one of the main highlights as well is the issue of infrastructure. And I think I want to put a spotlight on infrastructure because perhaps, as you know, there's going to be an infrastructure summit, next week. Water infrastructure is quite critical. And the fact that we're losing over 50% of our water to water leakages is totally not on.
Yeah, we are looking at about 800 billion rand in the next 10 years. The fiscus cannot finance that. So the private sector needs to get involved. And as I mentioned earlier today, is that it's useless for us building more dams and saving water. But if we don't fix the infrastructure, maintain our infrastructure, maintain our reticulation system within municipalities, you will just add more dams and more dams. You will never have enough water. So it's a parallel system where we must create bulk water, but COCTA needs to make sure that the infrastructure that municipalities put in place are maintained and make sure that we get that program rolling so that we don't just build dams. It's costly to build dams. It's costing South Africa 53 billion rand to add the phase 2 of Lesotho to Gauteng's water. That's a lot of money. But if we can't get our municipalities to act and finalize their priorities to make sure that their infrastructure is intact, that water will just go down the drain.
And lastly, Mr. Basson, the issue of criminality creeping into the water sector. You now have people who call themselves extortion or water tankering, mafias. And now, earlier on, I was speaking to Visvin Reddy, who also serves on the portfolio committee as you from the MK party. And he says that certain officials are actually within government, actually working with these mafias. How do you get rid of such, criminality?
Yeah, it's very easy. Municipalities need to stop employing these tankers and buy their own tankers, get funding to buy their own tankers so that the municipalities would deliver the water to the communities and not have private tankers doing it, because that's where the tanker mafia is. And the second thing they do is they damage our infrastructure so that they could have more tankers on the roads to deliver the water that should have gone by pipe to the community, go by road now. And old people needs to stand next to the road with buckets waiting for a tanker, hope the tanker will come today to give them some water. But that should stop, and municipalities need to take over that function where we will need to have tankers. The municipalities need to do that, and not private sector mafia tankers.
Mr. Pesan, thank you so much for your time, and of course all the best for tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, of course, Bongi and our viewers, tomorrow marks the last day of the Water Indaba. We do understand that Deputy President, Paul Mashatile, will be closing off the conference. Of course, tomorrow resolutions will be coming out. And of course, as SABC News, there will be a team here tomorrow. It's been a very long day, starting our crossings from 6 a.m. and closing off right now. But of course, these are just some of the pertinent issues that have come out of the Water Indaba. And hopefully, as a country, one step closer to actually dealing with the water challenges that the country faces. With that said, it's back to you in studio.
All right, Natasha, get some rest. You've done some sterling work today. Thank you so much for that update. Appreciate it. That's my colleague there, Natasha Phiri, SABC News reporter.